How do you, when you talk about distilling down the values, did you do that day one? I mean, you started the company day one, you wrote that down. When did that happen?
Yeah. So, how it came about, this is like my first job in my career. I was working for this company and I essentially got bullied by my supervisor, my manager. And the founders of this company is a small web development agency. They were bullying, they were just like really crappy people, and they're just like, it was a horrible place to work. I used to cry at my desk
No.
for the last 6 months of my time there. Every day I'll go to work, put on my headphones, put on Eminem, get really angry, and then start tearing up. And it was like a jail, right? So I've been on the other side and I know exactly what it feels like for some people. I left the organization and then I joined another company in the video gaming industry. And day one, I went into work. I was a graphic designer. So I basically created a script to update 1,000 images. It took me like 30 minutes, right? My manager, he wasn't even my manager. It was just a guy who was managing another team, came out and said, "Good job, buddy." And he's American because I was in Australia, right? He's American. He's like, "Good job." And he's a New Yorker. So he's like, "This is awesome." And I'm like, whoa. I don't like this praise. What is happening here? And I just realized, both companies were very successful. Both founders of both companies were amazing. Like they're smart, intelligent. But to make money and be successful, it doesn't matter how you act. You could act a certain way, or you can act like a douchebag. You can act like the most generous person on earth. It's actually a choice. And so I remember like thinking, man, if I start a company one day, I want to make it a choice to be a good person and good actor and what I think is good, and the money will just come in the end. So fast forward, what happened was when we started HappyCo, I didn't know how to create core values and culture, right? Because I wasn't like from the corporate world. So I remember just reading a book, and I read a lot, and there was one that stood out, which was the Journey to Mars or Mission to Mars. I don't know if you've ever done that, right? So it's essentially like, hey, the world is coming to an end. You're going to go to Mars and you have to repopulate Mars. Saying this out loud sounds a little bit wrong, but yeah, you're going to populate Mars. Who are you going to bring? You can choose 10 people in your company to go populate Mars. And so my co-founder and I, we identified 10 people we thought had the right core values. We just felt right with them, the right people we wanted to duplicate. And we went offsite and we just had all these post-it notes and kind of just wrote down what did we want from the organization, what sort of culture, and then what do we currently have and what we do not want to let go. And the trick to this is you get rid of all the aspirational stuff, right? And then you just focus on like the items that we have today and we want to continue to nourish and all that. So we came up with like 10 or so core values. Then my co-founder and I went aside and we picked 5 of them that we really liked and we thought embodied everything from that list of 10. And that became our core values. We did that probably about when we were about 20, 30 people in the organization.
Wow.
So probably about year 2, year 3. Yeah.